Teniatus in the valid definition now only in Nigeria and in a very small part of East Benin, which is connected with the Niger River system. We have different color morphs there. The most common one is the Pelvicacromis tenatus green, which is also named very often as Pelvicacromis tenatus calabar or Pelvicacromis tenatus vari. This is all the same. They are all the green ones. Nice fish, not too difficult to keep, but you should have soft water. I would say not more than 150 microsiemens. You have the red cheek, which is from the more western part of Nigeria. Again, you cannot differentiate the females of the different color morphs. You can only see differences in the males. Red cheek, because they have the red cheek. And in Benin, you have a pure yellow one, which has no red cheek. That's the main difference of the real wild color morphs. Females are nearly impossible to differentiate, males a little bit with the coloration. Typical characteristic for Pelvicacromis tenatus to differentiate from the two other species from Cameroon, I will show you afterwards, is a Pelvicacromis tenatus male always has a black margin in the lower half of the caudal fin, followed by a white or yellowish submargin. And they always have at least one or two, sometimes more, dots in the caudal fin. The number, individual variation, but you have to see dots. The females, like you can see here, in all Pelvicacromis tenatus morphs are showing some horizontal bars, with the most prominent here, in the caudal fin. This is typical for Pelvicacromis tenatus. This is important to differentiate them from crebensis and drachenfelsig, in the same way as the coloration of the caudal fin here. To differ between the single morphs you can find in Nigeria. This also is a Nigeria which is possibly crossbred with the crebensis. Why? Because this pattern of the dots in the upper half is a little bit untypical, and as you can see here, we do not have a very clear-cut black and white margin. The female definitely is a real Nigerian one because you can see this here. So unfortunately, we have a lot of crossbreeds of different color morphs of tenatus and crebensis in the hobby, and even crossbreeds between tenatus and crebensis. So my advice, if you want to have a real good color morph of a tenatus or a crebensis, only take wild collected ones when it goes to Nigerian ones, but not from Cameroonian ones. From the Cameroonian crebensis, only take fish from people which collect it by themselves. Why? In Cameroon, we have collectors, they know the places where they find the color morphs. When they have an order from an import in Europe, oh, we want to buy 100 pairs of Pelvicacromis crebensis. And then the collector in Cameroon goes to the place and has, okay, I have 100 males from here, but just 50 females. But I can drive to another location. Oh, and here I have a lot of females. I pack them together because of the females you cannot differentiate. And then you get them home, and then you have something you just call SHIT. And also, in the hobby, we get a lot of Pelvicacromis tenatus and Pelvicacromis crebensis from the Czech Republic. And this is the place where they make the mixtures of tenatus and crebensis. So only accept from a serious breeder you know by yourself, which knows from where his fish are coming from, and that he says, my fish are coming from Nick Kaimans, who collected, or René Kruter, who collected, Anton Lamboj, who collected. Just stuff like this. Then you have good strains. In the trade, it's a mess, unfortunately. But it's very difficult with the African people to train them to make clear populations. Yeah, that's a big problem. Okay, so this again is the tenatus, a real tenatus, the red cheek. You can see red cheek here. You can see this is a good even when it's a little bit blurred, but this is a good margin dark and the white one. And you see also that the dots here are totally different in the shape at all. It's like in the one before. The one before showed a dot shape we know from Cameroonian fish. The Taeniatus nigeria red, which we also know from the hobby, is not occurring in the wild. This is a selected strain. It's a pure Taeniatus. It's a real Taeniatus. It's not a crossbrood, but it's a selected strain. In normal coloration, they are looking more like this. Some males, when they are in best coloration, are red all over here, but just for courtship. So, for me, it's an artificial fish.
And they come from?
Hobby, just from the hobby.
No, but
they are selected out from the red cheek.
Red cheek.
From the red cheek, yes. So, but it's not a natural population. I'm not too slow. So, the Pelvicacromis credensis, when you look here at the male of the population Molive, you see here it's just a dark region in the lower half of the caudal fin, but not this white-black system. And this is typical for a credensis. And most credensis morphs, with the exception of one or two morphs, which are connected together, are having dots in the upper half of the caudal fin. This is for the male. For the female, in the Molive form and also in the next form I showed, also the Ndonga form, you can find a little bit one black band going in the caudal fin, but only one, not some as in the Taeniatus. And the more south you go, the more this black elongation of this band is going lost. In the most southern forms, you even cannot find this. So you just have a pale yellow caudal fin. And again, pattern of the caudal fin of the males of the credensis. We have a lot of different color morphs. I only can differentiate clearly the females when I have a Molive or Ndonga, separate from the most southern forms. Within Molive and Ndonga, I cannot differentiate the females. In Ndonga and Molive also it's a problematic thing with the males. And in South Cameroon, you cannot say with the females from where they're coming from. That's the big mess we have. However, all the credensis are absolutely nicely colored fish. The males are having a good coloration, and the females, when courting, you will see later on pictures of credensis courting, they also have a great coloration. Again, good family structure. They are building good families, breeding like I spoke before. What you have to keep in mind is that the more south you go, the more sensible they are against hardness in the water. At Taeniatus, you can also breed successfully with 150 microsiemens. You can do it with the Credensis Molive. When you go to Creedy with the Credensis bipindi or Credensis kienke, 60-70 microsiemens maximum. pH for Taeniatus and Molive 7, fine, it works. pH for the South Cameroonian ones, 6.5 maximum. So the more south you go with credensis, with Taeniatus credensis and Drachenfelsi, the more south you go, the softer the water has to be and the lower the pH has to be. But even when they are sometimes then more fragile, beautiful fish, you will see. So, and they are in a tank they share with Divando albimarginatus from Gabon, which is more than double sized than this fish. But they raised up their brood successfully and they lost not more than 10 babies, up to a size of 2 centimeters. The tank is 160 centimeters across 65 and 45 high. And you can see that one of the parents is always with the babies taking care. You see the band in the female, which shows the brood coloration. Also the male here shows a band. The male always is active. Male is about 8 centimeters, female 5. They are wonderful parents like all Pelvicacromis.
What was the ratio in ratio males to females?
It depends on temperature and hardness. So sometimes I have broods only females.
No, just the parents.
So here I had just the one parent.
Okay.
I distributed the Molive on several tanks, And this was a separate pair. I thought by myself, I will not breed with them. But then they breed with the big fish, and the tank was better for making a short film than the other tanks. So because they always have been in the foreground. Yeah. So it was not my intention to breed with this pair.
And you were saying about the ratio of the babies?
The babies, sometimes you have just males or females, but when you find the right balance, it's like a spider web with pH, hardness, temperature, and so on. When you find out for your tank how it works well, you can make it after 3 or 4 broods that you say I have a ratio of about 50-50. The Crebensis from Muyuca, and this is a very special chapter. Because Muyuca, keep in mind, I said to you, usually we find Pelvicacromis species, no matter where we go, only very close to the shoreline, maybe 50-60 kilometers inside the country, only in soft water. What I forgot to say, why they can live very close to the coast, only in soft water, is most of the creeks which are going in the Atlantic Ocean where this fish occur are going, especially in Cameroon and Nigeria, are going in with a very small waterfall, just 1 or 1 meter 50 high. But this avoids that the flood of the sea can go in the soft water. And so you just go 50 meters away from the coast and you find pure soft water with 20-30 microsiemens. So, however, 50-60 kilometers inside the country. The village of Muyuca is about 80 kilometers, 90 kilometers away from the coastline. And you can find Pelvicacromis crebensis in the Muyuca region and even more inside the country around Kumba, which is more than 120 kilometers away from the coastline. And the Crebensis Muyuca, with this old name, was first transported by Horst Linke, who collected fish there. The curious thing is that in the whole region, between Kumba and Muyuca, we can find fish like this, and we can find, for example, fish like this, which is pretty different. And we even can find other ones. In the females, no chance to see any difference, but also with a very curious pattern of the dots. Not the number, but the pattern, how the dots are looking like, how they are distributed, it's curious. And the reason why we have different color morphs in this close area, far away from the coast, is a very simple one. Collectors, which didn't want to go so far to collect fish, collected crebensis of different places in Cameroon and distributed them around Kumba Muyuca, because then they just had to go 10 kilometers to collect them. And we do not know on which creek did they bring out which population, did they mix populations or not, we do not know it. But the result is that all the Kumba and Muyuca Pelvicacromis crebensis are not real natural populations. They are living in the wild. They are living in the wild, but they have been brought out by humans. That's the bad thing. But however, they are in the hobby too, because some people are keeping them.
So it's not possible that there just was a population mixed with the one that...
Now, I think we could check it out, which mixtures we have, when we make the genetic work. But genetic work costs money. Okay. And from the scientific side, I'm the only one, I guess, worldwide, which is interested to clear it up. But my research is financed by myself. And to make good genetic work is very costly. Even when in the modern time it became cheaper, but on the other hand, when I started with genetic work, we made 300 base pairs. Now the standard is whole genome sequencing. So the cheaper price is balanced out. By now you have to make bigger regions. And when I have to decide, should I pay 3,000 euro for sequencing of 5 specimens of Pelvicacromis crebensis, or should I spend 3,000 euros to go out in the field and to collect some fish? I like to go for collection much more. So Kumba, this is also one of these fishes. And when I look on the Nanche, this is definitely looking like a form like the Pindi or so. So But to say it exactly, we would need the DNA to check out all the populations and to compare them with the most southern populations and also with the Mollive populations. However, we have them. And again, females, beautiful, nice fish, but not a real natural population. But however, Crebensis is a beautiful fish. Here, then, this again is a good natural population. We have the Pelvicacromis crebensis. At first it came in as Tehane. In the meantime, sometimes we see the name Edea too, but both are the same populations with a very prominent red bar here, beautiful coloration, a little bit more in the south. When you go from Duala to the south, then you come to the region of Tehane and Edea, where you can see this fish. This has been one of the first ones which came in from the Tehane with the very prominent red bar on the cheek. Females, when they're courting, beautiful, again, as all the Crebensis ones. And you can see a little bit this black band in the caudal fin, but less prominent than in Mollive. And then later on you will see the most southern ones, even this is now disappearing. But it's a glidal variation, so you can see the more south you go, the more it disappears. So you can reconstruct the connection. This is the Locunce, a little bit more going to the south. We are now coming close to Creevy. The female has some fry and is showing to the male, hey, I'm guarding my fry. You can see the male, no red coloration on the cheek, a little bit more yellowish here. Very beautiful form. For me, the most beautiful one is the Pipindi. Also some more kilometers to the south. The interesting thing is with all these creeks going to the Atlantic Ocean, and they're separated from each other. You go to this one creek, you see the color morphed, and you drive 5 or 7 kilometers. The next creek is going in. Every creek has the step to the Atlantic Ocean, and you find a slight variation of the color morph. So it's really interesting to see all this. Then you have the Bandivuri, again a little bit more to the south. Absolutely beautiful, wonderful, more elongated form, beautiful yellow coloration, nice red here. Again, male and female taking care of the fry, the female with the band, which you can see. You can see the male with some babies, beautifully colored. Excellent parents, like all the Pelvicacromis, again. And even this was generation F5 in the aquarium, you can see still a good coloration therein. So when you keep the springs clean, when you give them good tanks, you can see here a lot of algae growing. My tanks are in my basement, so I have no problem with the algae. Algae are a natural thing, and you have a lot of algae which are showing that your tank is okay, and the fish like it. So why not to do it in this way? Also a female taking brood care. You can see one baby here, one baby here. And here you can see now the babies are relatively big now. So this is more than 1 centimeter. So, and the female is still taking care, and they are waiting still 4 weeks, 5 weeks longer to take care of them. The most classical one is the Pelvicacromis crebensis from Kienke. This is a Kienke we collected in '93 in Cameroon. This is in the Crete region. And this is the Crebensis Kienke we have at the moment, the Kienke Bidu Konya. The original ones have been collected about 1.5 or 2 years ago. So at this we have now in the tank, we have the exact village, Bidu Konya, where they have been found. Also really nice fish, beautiful colored. But as these are more southern ones, here I work with pure rainwater with a pH of about 5.5 and the conductivity is around 50 microsiemens. So they need this. And also in the most southern parts we have the forms Niete and Lobe. These are the forms which are having no black dots in the males in the caudal fin. In the females you sometimes can have 1 or 2 black dots here, 1 or 2 black dots here, but the males of Niete as well as the Lobe are not having dots in the upper half of the caudal fin. But for me it's the same because the Lobe is the bigger river. And when you are on the right place where the Niete connects the Lobe, you stand here, you collect the Lobe fish, then you go 5 steps to the Niete and you collect there. And this is also what the Cameroonian collectors are doing it. They realized, hey, we just have to change the village name or the Greek name, and then we can offer a new color morph, and then we get a better price. So, but when you know the fish, when you know the places, when you look on the map, then very often you recognize, hey, that's just 50 meters away or 10 meters away, and it's all the same fish. But however, they are nice, they're looking good. And here you also can see my system with the sponge filter, with the algae. The male and the babies are grazing there, they are finding the food on the day I'm not feeding. And it works. They are growing slowly, but they're growing well, and my fish are having a good condition. Since I work with the system, feed less, give more space, feed less protein, feed more fiber and all this, maybe I have 1 or 2 fish per year with bloat, not more. And this is mainly then bloat caused by too much stress. This is when one male or one female is always pushed down by the other one. Stress can also cause bloat, but not